Hey, Claire, how are you doing, girl? It is your dad, Miguel. How are you doing? All right. Well, I'm doing good. I'm doing really good today. To answer my own question, so this has been a fun weekend already. I went to the Lompoc Springfest celebration yesterday, and I was at the carnival, rode some rides, had a good time, met up with a lot of people, oddly enough, some friends that they're just hanging out, trying to get out of the house and hanging out at the Lompoc Spring Fest, you know, eating, drinking beer. And I don't drink beer myself, but um, they're eating strawberry shortcake. And I had the pleasure of enjoying a Hawaiian ice. It's a Hawaiian shaved ice. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. Well, actually, I'm quite sure you are familiar with it because when you were like 4 or 5 years old, you, me, and your mom, we traveled to Hawaii and we had a really nice vacation there. Your mom set up a lot of luau's that we went to for dinner. And as we were walking around some areas on the Big Island, we came across this Hawaiian shaved ice place, and we had some Hawaiian shaved ice. Good stuff. Let me tell you, I really enjoyed it. First of all, the ice and the texture of the ice was really just perfect. They really know how to pull it together. And it was like a striped ice. It's like red, white, and blue or something like that, where the red was cherry. Oh, the yellow was like lemon lime, and the blue was red raspberry. Oh, yeah. That sure did taste good. Really love that shaved ice. Those flavorings were awesome. And it came in this little blue dish, and they gave me a little spoon to eat from, and it was really nice. I pretty much downed it really quick. And in fact, a little bit quicker than I anticipated. It was big. It was about just slightly as large as my own head with ice. And it was really tasty. Oh, yeah, it was good. I'm still remembering what it tasted like. It was good. It was good. I'm thinking that if I ever see that Hawaiian shaved ice van again, or it was like a food truck, I think I'm totally going to get it again. That's for sure. Really tasty and pretty reasonable too, I guess, in terms of cost. So loved it. Definitely will try that again. I don't have shaved ice all the time. It's actually a fairly rare occasion for me to get it. And I think that the Hawaiian shaved ice is a lot better than the traditionally shaved ice. The traditional shaved ice has some, really large ice particles. The Hawaiian shaved ice, well, that's a lot. The ice particles are a lot smaller in diameter. And believe it or not, it makes a big difference in how enjoyable the ice cone is. So I was managed to run into some people out there and have some nice conversations. One of the topics we talked about were the plans that I have for this summer. And, I've got a lot of plans, and one of them is to take a class at Allen Hancock College. I'm going to be taking a class this summer. I've already figured out what class it is. Here it is. I'm going to take a sewing class this summer. I'm really looking forward to it. It's a night class. It's going to happen on Monday evenings. And the class is called quilting. That's right. So I'm looking forward to learning how to quilt. I took a sewing class last year. It was clothing construction, and that was super useful. And I want to continue working with the sewing machine because it is an incredibly useful tool, super useful, and it's extremely interesting. It's definitely a way to produce art. It's also quite practical. It helps me, tailor my own clothing. I can make my own clothing. It helps me manufacture costumes. It helps me with repair. Like I can repair things like, well, I repaired my car seats. They had begun to rip, and I used a sewing needle and some thread and fixed it. And so, it's an eminently practical skill. I've actually got a couple sewing books for reference in my personal library here at home, and I use that knowledge just to help me do all kinds of things, to affix a button onto a shirt, or if there's anything that needs to be taken in on my clothes. Say, I want to slim down the waist of a shirt, or I want to cuff pants. With a sewing machine, I've got the ability to make it happen. And I also have a sewing machine that does embroidery. So I can do some embroidery. I've embroidered my name in like my pajamas and things like that for fun. But, there are a lot of other useful ways to use that embroidery machine. There's also another factor here. That machine that I have, which is a Brother, I forget what the actual serial number is or manufacturer model name. But right now the embroidery function is not working, and I really want to get that repaired because it's kind of important to me to be able to embroider. I know. I want to use that function, and maybe taking this class will help inspire me to somehow get that fixed. So looking forward to doing that. So definitely looking forward to the quilting class. For me, it's about, improving my skill at sewing, and also learning to appreciate the sewists and the seamstresses that are out there doing their work. In fact, it's kind of funny. I was thinking about volunteering for the Lucidity Music and Art Festival and doing sewing as a way to do my volunteer time. That did not happen. I actually have a better idea for next year. They've got these promotional ambassadors that people can volunteer to be. And if you work with local businesses to promote the Lucidity Music Festival for like 8 hours or something, you can get your admission free to the Lucidity Music and Art Festival. Wow. Oh boy, I need to sign up for that now. I think the Lucidity Festival, you can pay for tickets now for $150. In fact, you know what? I might just pay $150, and the cost is so low, only $50 a day, that maybe I'll just purchase it right now instead of hinge my bet, sort of hinge my, I kind of like to have the guarantee that I'll have tickets for the next Lucidity instead of, waiting to volunteer and perhaps get my admission free. Yeah. So I guess that's kind of the question I have to answer for myself. And that is, am I willing to wait for like almost an entire year and then make an effort at promoting the Music and Art Festival? I don't know. I might just throw down $150 now, have my tickets, and call it done. That's probably what I'm going to do, because I like to reduce risk as much as I can, particularly with activities that I know I want to do. And it's just easier. Sometimes I'll choose the easy way. I'll press the easy button if I can. Mm. Well, anyway, I'm just glad that I had the time to talk it out with you, Em, so that, you know, I was able to work out a decision in my own mind. Thanks for helping me out. I appreciate that. So let's see. What else is on in my life? I'm about to sign up for a quilting class. Hey, there's another thing that's going on. May 4th, there's going to be another music festival happening in San Luis Obispo, and I've got tickets. Yep, I'm going. And I definitely want to invite you to come along. Absolutely. It's happening May 4th. Yeah, May 4th. And so I'm definitely going to let you know about it, say via text message or something like that. And at least give you the opportunity to decide whether you wanted to go with me or not. Who knows? Who knows? I might get surprised, which I'm often surprised about a lot of things. I don't claim to be right about a lot of things, but and so for me, it's about the magic and the mystery of discovery and exploration, and that satisfies a lot of needs right there. So anyway, yeah, I'll go ahead and ask. So let's see, what else is going on in my life that you might be interested in? Well, I'm getting my braces off. May 7th is the last day that I'll have my braces in my mouth, and I'm so looking forward to it. I've already told you about how probably one of the first things I'm going to eat after I get my braces off is an apple. I'm going to bite into an apple. I can't wait. Yeah, looking forward to that. It'll be so nice. After years, actually about a year and a half of slicing apples with a knife to cut it down into bits and pieces so that I can eat apples without the risk of it sort of affecting my dental hardware, it will be nice to eat it with my teeth intact. Yeah. And, I might eat some other kind of what you might call fruits. Like maybe I'll try some nectarines and peaches. I think one of the best things about having my teeth sort of freed from being sort of controlled by braces is the fact that I don't have to worry about food being stuck in my teeth after I've eaten it when I talk to other people, say at a meal or just after a meal. In fact, I think that might have been the most tough part of having braces, and that is, that uncertainty related to me having stuff in my teeth when I talk to other people. It's really driven me to brush my teeth pretty much after every meal, which is a good habit nonetheless. I'm not knocking that habit. But, it also means I brush my teeth after every snack, right? And I might have a snack or two a day. And, that's a lot of teeth brushing, that's brushing my teeth 3, 4, 5 times a day. And, that can, it's kind of a bother. Now, I don't mind it so much, because I know it's good for me nonetheless. And it might be something that I ought to continue doing anyway. But here's the thing. I've got a lot more confidence when that I don't have food in my braces when I won't have my braces on. That's right. And that'll mean more confidence in front of people. Pretty sure about that. So that's good. Definitely looking forward to that. So, I got so much good stuff happening just in the next month. In the next month, I'll be traveling to Arizona. I'll be traveling to New Mexico, visiting my family in Albuquerque, Santa Fe, and Taos. I'll be going to a music festival May 4th. There's also the science fair that's happening on May 3rd and 4th at the Lompoc High School, which I'll be participating in as a judge, which I always do. I do every year. There's so many things going on. I'm having my braces taken off. So much stuff going on. And then not only that, but here's probably one of the more fun parts of what's happening in May is that late May, I think it's May 27th. It might be Memorial Day weekend. Six Flags is going to be opening its Hurricane Harbor water park. That's right. And guess what? I've got tickets. Yeah. I am totally going to go. Maybe I won't go opening weekend. Yeah, I won't be going opening weekend because I'll be in Albuquerque, New Mexico. But I'm definitely going to go probably the weekend after that. So I'm totally looking forward to hanging out at Hurricane Harbor, Six Flags, and going on all the awesome rides. It's just going to be a blast. Looking forward to the summer. Totally looking forward to the summer. I really hope the weather shapes up. It's been a little cool lately, but I have a feeling that Southern California is going to be real nice this summer. Yeah. And then I also have a feeling that I'm going to be going to Hurricane Harbor Water Park many, many times this summer. So totally looking forward to that. And what's better is I won't have braces in my mouth, which is great. And guess what? I've already got my beach body. Yes. This is one of the benefits of being at my ideal weight. Yeah. All that hard work is paying off. Whew, thank goodness, man. So things are really shaping up. Trips, music festivals, braces coming out. I mean, going to water parks. And that's just in the next month and 10 days. Month and 9 days. I know. So it's pretty amazing. I'm really feeling real good about what's going on. And I mean, and that's just the next month or so. There's more stuff happening later on. I mean, it's just continual. I'm going to be spending 2 weeks in Santa Cruz. Oh man, makes my heart go aflutter. And that's happening in July and August. So many cool things. I'm also thinking about walking in the solstice parade. Whew, boy, that's going to be awesome. I'm kind of curious if you're willing to hang out around the time that you're having your birthday, and we can do some kind of birthday celebration. Maybe we can go out and get some ice cream or something, or get some ice cream cake. Oh yeah, that sounds really good. Maybe we could pick up some Baskin Robbins ice cream cake and celebrate at the park or something like that. Now that sounds like fun. Now, if you have any interest in doing that, just let me know and we can pull it together. That would be nice. And I have a feeling that the music coming out, of course, I'm going to try to go dancing as much as I can this summer. And maybe even, I also have been telling you, I still have this hankering to go to the beach and learn how to do stand-up paddleboard and even surfing. Yeah, I know. That idea just hasn't left me for all these years. And I've had an interest in making it happen, getting some surfing lessons. This summer may be the year that I do it. It's entirely possible that that'll happen. So this year is going to be a lot of fun. I've got a lot of high hopes for it. And here's one thing that I hope that I can pull together this summer is doing some more reading. That is an area that I'm a little weak in right now. I used to be pretty strong in it. I was reading up a storm in the last month or two, but things have dropped off. I don't know what it is about these good habits. I develop them, I work hard to develop them, and then they fall away for one reason or another. There was a time when I was reading an hour a day, which I loved to do, and then it just fell away. It was fun, kind of funny. When it comes to reading, I think I get highly motivated and I just could read all day, every day, right? and then something happens. I get thrown off the pattern that I've developed, and I'm back down to just reading a little bit every day. Now, I actually read a lot at my workplace, and I read a lot at home, on the internet and news articles, things like that. That's really common for me. I spend a lot of my time online just reading. And that's great. So it's not that that there's a lack in me reading, but because I read all the time. I read all the time. Seriously, I read all the time. But one thing that I don't do is I don't read, say, with coherent, consistent academic themes, or even self-development, self-growth themes, not as consistent as I want to. I do it what I'd call in an inconsistent fashion, but not in a deep, consistent way. And it's an area that I really want to work on. I kind of want to transform myself. And I guess, the only way that I'll do that is by focusing on, what motivations, focusing on the why, what is my motivation for doing it? It's a deep question. Here's the thing. Human beings, well, we don't really know why we do what we do. And, we don't, as human beings, we just sort of make up meaning and purpose in our lives. We just sort of, we stumble upon it sometimes. Quite often we make it up and make it happen. Really, I would guess that we do that 80% of the time. We just make something up. We think, oh, that'll make us happy. At least we think that might make us happy. And so we pursue it with energy, and, we make it happen. And, it's great. Though sometimes it's unclear. There's a lot of uncertainty in being a human being. What baskets of values do we pursue? And it's not entirely clear. I was introduced to an interesting concept the other day that relates to feminine and masculine traits in people. Now, you may be aware that I think that masculine and feminine traits are learned in culture as children grow up. Young girls learn to be women. They grow up and learn to be women from their culture. They get acculturated. And the same is true for young boys. Young boys grow into men, and they do so because they develop these masculine traits as a result of their conditioning, right? It's just learning and conditioning over time. Society has a way to sort of bend people in certain directions, because there are incentives, cultural incentives. That's how there are rewards. There are also punishments for those who sort of now those reward punishment mechanisms for learning and showing masculine and feminine traits. Those mechanisms actually are diminishing in force. And lately, I'm so glad to see it happen. It's wonderful. Now, what's my point about all of this? I was talking about masculine and feminine traits. So here's something I learned. And I thought this made a lot of sense, and it helped me understand it. It was a TED Talk that I listened to. And it talked about how if you could generalize about masculine traits, that the claim was that you would find that masculine traits are very goal-oriented. And then feminine traits are very experiential-oriented. And, I really like that distinction. I thought that was telling. I thought that that I appreciated the theme sort of getting to know what the themes of masculinity and femininity might be, and it makes sense. So here are a few examples. Say a masculine trait would be to achieve a goal of some kind, accomplish a set of tasks, do it efficiently and effectively, and have a focus on one's performance. I can imagine people who, let's say a person wears a piece of clothing. I can imagine if you're going to wear that piece of clothing in a masculine way, that would mean that, that the clothes would say attract a person of the opposite sex, or attract, maybe would help you get the job, right? Yeah, a very goal-oriented reason to wear those clothes. That would be a sort of a masculine way to wear clothes. Now, a feminine way to wear clothes would be one related to the experiential nature of just wearing those clothes, because they bring you enjoyment, because say you enjoy the swish of the fabric across your skin. Now, males and females, they have a lot of reasons about why they wear the clothes that they do. And I just sort of like this generalization about how might it be that a masculine trait would be to wear clothes for a certain purpose, whereas a feminine trait would wear clothes because of the enjoyment of wearing those clothes, what the enjoyment might be in the moment. Yeah. Maybe a focus on the colors or the pattern. I could imagine feminine traits would be a focus on sort of the feelings, or or maybe even sort of like the ideas that sort of correspond with those clothes. Say the romantic ideas that correspond to those clothes, without even a focus on, say, romantic acts. That's what, yeah. I'm thinking, oh yeah, that really might be a feminine approach to wearing clothes. And I don't know, I just thought it was really interesting. So what's the point of all this? Oh, I was talking about purpose and meaning in life. And I wanted to draw a distinction between, say, the goal-oriented focus and the experiential focus. It's sort of like the distinction between being versus doing, right? In fact, there's that whole yin-yang type distinction between doing and being, right? And in fact, yeah, that could be so distilled into, say, what I'd call like a masculine feminine dichotomy as well. So so here's my point. I was talking about what I'm going to do this summer, and I was, just to let you know, my focus on what I was going to do this summer was very goal oriented. It was a very masculine, say, focus, where I was describing activities that I would be a part of, right? Walking in the parade, going to Hurricane Harbor, taking a quilting class, right? Do you notice how those are all very goal-oriented activities? Absolutely. So the alternative, if I really wanted to widen out this summer, I talked about reading and how I wanted to do more of it. Well, that, in some respects, one could generalize and state that reading and listening to music and maybe doing some artwork, maybe adding more potted plants in my home, and enjoying those potted plants and the scene they create in, say, my living room and bathroom and kitchen, that could be more of what I'd call sort of a feminine emphasis on enjoying my summer. And I really love that. I kind of love that. First of all, it's a really keen insight. Really the overall purpose is that I enjoy my summer, right? That's what all this planning and thinking is about, right? And there are a couple of ways to do it. Number one, I can do things, right? Do activities, perform tasks. That's one kind of thing that I can do. There's another kind of thing that I could do, and that is just sort of enhance the inner sense of well-being and growth in my life by bringing more joy and wonder in every moment of my life through a focus on sort of enhancing my experiences, right? Becoming more embodied, right? This is really two parts of what it might be to have an enjoyable summer. And anyway, I sort of wanted to talk about that a little bit with you in your presence so that you could sort of understand where I'm coming from. It's not all about doing, a lot of an enjoyable summer is just about being. And what does that involve? Sometimes it doesn't involve much. I know, Emily, you've spoken to me by, sometimes I text you and you tell me what you're doing and you call it being lazy. Listening to music or whatever. I think that might be possibly a derogatory way to talk about, say, the feminine aspect of how to spend one's time. And you know what? I don't want to be derogatory toward it. I want to respect it. I want to honor it. And I think it deserves as much admiration and focus as does all the doing. Life is not all about doing. The problem with too much doing is that you get tired, you get burnt out, you get disgruntled and upset, angry. You get jealous sometimes of people who do more or something like that. Life is not all about doing. It's also about being, A big part of life's about being. In fact, probably more than 50% of life is about just being. Fact is, even though I like to say that I'm active and energetic and get things done, I spend a lot of my time just sitting on the couch like everybody else, and sitting in my chair at work, it's a yin yang kind of focus. And I want to honor both. I think both have value. And I think recognizing both is a real keen insight. And I think it's worth your consideration. So let's get to the title of this video. I think I remember what I entitled this video. It was, have I ever had a premonition that actually came true? And I want to explain that. So the fact is that I have premonitions that come true all the time. I said a moment ago that I like being surprised, and quite often I'm surprised. But I would guess that more often things happen and I'm not surprised that they happen. Easily 80% of the time I'm not surprised. And now I might not be able to predict with 100% accuracy when things happen and why. But here's the thing. As a human being, I am really good at predicting the future. Maybe not what's going to happen with infinite detail, but I have a sense of kind of what people are thinking and what they're doing. I basically have a model in my mind about how things work, right? And I've developed this model over years. For me, I've developed this model over 47 years, almost to be 48 years old. That's my birthday, coming up May 27th. So I've got this model in my brain that I've honed and created over the years, and it's pretty accurate. at least in my view. In fact, a lot of the things that I think might happen kind of do. It's now whether that is true in an objective way is entirely different. I think from a subjective perspective, yeah, I think it's true a lot of the time. It may not be so true in an objective way. I have a feeling that the brain kind of reinforces its own ideas. There's this cognitive bias. There's this bias in human beings. Human brains like to be right. They like to be correct. It's about certainty. It's about trust, reliability. It's about peace. If I was really bad at predicting the future, I would be so angry, upset, and sad, and paranoid, and I'd be afraid. Oh yeah, I'd be filled with fear if I could not predict the future. Like, will the sun rise tomorrow? Well, if I could not predict whether I knew the sun would rise tomorrow, then I would be a wreck. I would be really anxious. I'd be concerned, not knowing if the sun would rise tomorrow. But the fact is, my human brain has been paying attention, and I've predicted that the sun will rise tomorrow, pretty much no matter what happens. And so that premonition is quite often correct. And I feel comforted to know that, there's peace in my heart, knowing that the sun is going to rise tomorrow, knowing that the laws of physics will be consistent yesterday, today, and tomorrow. The conservation of mass, conservation of energy, conservation of momentum, that those will hold true in the universe here in my local vicinity. And even at a distance, the fact that I know that brings me lots of peace, and it helps me sleep at night. For people who don't have that, maybe people in a war zone, I can imagine the fear that might arise in someone, right? So, because of the uncertainty, human beings love to be certain. So my point is that, yeah, I have lots of premonitions. My brain is functioning just as well as anybody else's brain on the planet. And, I do a lot of predicting about how the world's going to turn out. And I would say from a subjective standpoint that generally I'm correct. So there are a lot of premonitions that happen to me that are satisfied. I mean, just me going to the Spring Fest yesterday. I didn't spend a lot of time with the Spring Fest. I spent a couple hours out there. I had a suspicion that I'd meet up with somebody from Lompoc that I would know and have some conversations with them. And guess what? It happened. That's right. I went to the Spring Fest, relying on this idea in my head that other people might show up for it and that I'd have a good time talking to other people, right? Having conversations with them. And guess what? That happened pretty much. Now, there were some surprises, like who showed up, surprises that were like, whoa, I didn't know that they were going to be here. But they were. And I predicted that. Not that they particularly would be there, but that somebody would be there who I know. So at least in that respect, yeah, I have premonitions that happen all the time. And it's rather unsurprising that they do. What I'm saying is not interesting. In fact, Emily, I have a sense that even you as a 14-year-old are pretty darn good at figuring out what's going to happen tomorrow. And even next week. I think you have a pretty good idea about what the weather's going to be like, what people are going to be like, what your teachers are going to be like, what your math textbook is going to look like a week from now. I think you've got a really good handle on what's going to happen. So now, Now, this question about premonitions, I may be answering the wrong question. Have I ever had a premonition that actually came true? Might be a question that's really asking a different question. It's asking, is there anything improbable that I guessed would happen actually happen? And the fact is, sometimes I have suspicions that improbable things might happen. And I would say some of the time, maybe 5-10% of the time, I'm right. Here's the thing. Maybe 90% of the time, 95% of the time, I'm not right. I'm emphasizing the part of the statistic that flatters me the most. That's just what brains do. It's confirmation bias. Anyway, so I have a further point. My point is that I think I might have lost it. That point I was going to emphasize, but human beings, they have brains that are good at making predictions. Here was my point. My point is that human brains have 40,000 to 60,000 thoughts a day. My nerves, the neurons in my brain are continuously firing hypotheses about the world and what's going to happen next. And the fact is, I do so much thinking in this area and a lot of it is unnecessary. That the reason I'm so good at predicting stuff is because I'm doing it a lot. I spend a lot of my time trying to figure out what's going to happen in the future. A lot of my time. And I'm always making calculated decisions about what might happen. For example, I'm going to go to San Luis Obispo this afternoon. I'm going to go dancing for a couple hours. Now, I fully expect to get from Lompoc to San Luis Obispo intact, right? Driving in traffic on Highway 101. And chances are very good, if I apply attention and responsibility, that I'll be able to make that 1 hour drive, in a safe manner and get there safely. There also is a 5% chance that I'll have an accident on the way there or back, right? Now, if I do have an accident, will that be completely just a surprise to me? The fact is, it won't be. I mean, it's completely possible. It may not be likely, but it is completely reasonable. Is it something that I thought that might possibly happen? Totally. I recognize the reality of that event happening, me getting in a car accident of some type, of some unknown severity. It might be severe, it might be less severe. But, as a human being, I'm continually looking into the future, trying to predict what might happen. And indeed, having a car accident on the way to San Luis Obispo this afternoon is something that might happen. So I've actually had premonitions in both directions. That is, a safe trip and an unsafe trip. I've thought them through and what might happen sort of in each event. So the question is, have I ever had a premonition that's come true? Even an unlikely premonition? Well, the answer is, of course, yes. Yes. I have, related to the trip that I'm going to be taking this afternoon to San Luis Obispo, I have premonitions related to getting there safely, not getting there at all because of car trouble or getting into an accident. I have premonitions related to what I might do after dancing, and who I might do it with. I have premonitions about, I'm having a lot of premonitions about, as I'm planning what's going to be happening this afternoon, I'm thinking about all the possibilities. I've got this sort of I don't know, it's sort of like a decision tree. I don't know. It's not even that. It's more like a Monte Carlo method where my brain just sort of randomly comes up with ideas. And it sort of takes averages of the various ideas, the various possibilities, right? The various combinations. Well, it could be this, this, and this, or that, and that, or this and that, and this and that, or that and this and that and this. So even improbable things, at least for a moment, I've considered the possibility of it happening in reality. So, for that reason, it's actually not a surprise, I think you might acknowledge, that me having premonitions that come true is pretty normal. It's pretty universal that people sort of have premonitions that come true. Why? Because we're continuously thinking. Today I'm having easily 60,000 thoughts in the day, and there's plenty of time and energy that I'm devoting to what might happen on my trip to San Luis Obispo. So I think I just spent like 15 minutes talking about something entirely obvious. But, it was the point of this video, right? Have I ever had a premonition about even something unlikely happening that happened? Absolutely. It happens all the time. It happens all day, every day. Now, have there been times that I've been surprised? Totally. I'm always surprised. I'm only so good at predicting what the future is going to be like. But I mean, I'm not perfect, but I'm not bad, right? Somehow I've managed to continue to live and thrive and predict the future in such a way that I can do so in a functional way, right? I'm functional, like other people are functional. If I wasn't able to make these predictions, I can imagine being so afraid and concerned that I never leave my house. Absolutely. And the fact that I do make these predictions, that the improbable predictions happen sometimes, that helps me feel excited about the outing. It helps me feel relaxed about the outing. If I was consistently shown evidence that my predictions were not coming true, I would have less confidence in my decision-making ability. I'd have less confidence, even if my decision-making ability I thought was good, I would have less confidence in the reality around me. If I was not able to predict the future or have premonitions about the future, I think it actually kind of gets overblown sometimes. I think, I understand that sometimes what happens is that only after an event takes place does someone make a statement about whether they predicted it or not. predicted it or not. A lot of the claims that people make about predicting the future are, how should I say? Well, there's a subtlety in doing it and doing it right. And human beings get along, right? We do so in a functional way. And, I don't claim to have any powers of judgment or powers of cognition or prediction that is any better than anybody else. I just have average levels. And I do a pretty good job at making predictions. Yeah. I'm okay with that. So let's see, what else is going on? Anything interesting going on that I want to address today? Hey, Em, I wonder, did you enjoy the music that I sent to you today? Actually, I sent it to you yesterday via text message. I sent you a lot of music. A lot of the music that I sent you was, well, first of all, Marina had a few tracks that I've been enjoying lately. Marina I think she published a an audio recording, a record recently, and I've been listening to some of the music, and a lot of it is really good. Some of the songs I don't quite care for, but at least two songs I really love. And I've been tracking some other artists too. Um, what is her name? Illish? Inish? Billie Eilish? Oh, I forget. I forget her name. Let's see. I'll pull it up right here. Yeah, Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish. I'm enjoying some of her work right now. I am surprised at just how popular she is becoming. I've been looking on some of the charts, like the top 100 music charts worldwide and globally. This lady is a phenom. She is getting lots of attention from all corners of the globe, and I'm so pleased. She's got a lot of great music. And I really appreciate what I'd call like the really deep honesty in her lyrics. Now, not every song I like. I tend to like music that is more electronic dance music. That's more my style. But I can enjoy some down tempo, chill zone type music too. And so I've been listening to her a little bit and enjoying it. Not and in along those veins, I've also been listening to Harry Potter soundtrack music, and I've been exploring some composers that have made contributions to the Harry Potter movie soundtracks. And there's this guy named Cooper who I'm following right now, and I'm really liking his work. And in fact, there's a song that I added to the video that I sent you yesterday called Dumbledore's Army. That's the title. And this guy, Cooper, he, I don't know, arranged it, composed it, wrote it for the movie Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. And man, I love that song. In fact, one of the things that I'm grateful to Harry Potter for is helping me raise my awareness and appreciation for classical music again. There had been a long time that I had gone through just not spending a lot of time thinking about classical music. You know me, I like dubstep and electronic dance music. I like pop music. I like some disco. For me, it's about whether I enjoy music a lot has a lot to do with whether it's danceable and, you know, how a human body can move to the music. And I've been spending a lot less time lately focusing on classical music and, you know, other genres, which I enjoy, but I just haven't been focusing on them lately, like smooth jazz or, you know, music like that, a cappella. Again, music I love. I like the oldies but goodies. You know, I love the classic rock and roll songs. I like, you know, I just haven't been focusing on that kind of music lately until I started focusing or paying attention to Harry Potter and the movie soundtracks. And let me tell you, I've really been enjoying my foray into classical music lately. It's really helping me to sort of widen out my listening tastes. And it's just been really nice. It's been really enriching. And I sort of, believe it or not, I've sort of become one with the Harry Potter series of books and movies. There's the characters are real to me. After reading what 5, 6 books now, the characters are real. This Harry Potter person is real. Hermione is real. Dumbledore, you know, I admire Dumbledore as a character. You know, sure, he's fictional, but in my mind at least, there is some reality. There's like a concrete aspect to the Dumbledore character that I can relate to. And, you know, it's a part of my mind now. It's a part of my belief system. It's a part of my references in my own mind. It's a part of my personal history, you know? And you know what? I'm liking it. And you know what? I have a feeling after I get through with the Harry Potter series, which I'll probably be done with this summer, I think there are a few more books that I've got to read. But once I stop with Harry Potter, I'm having a feeling that I might start getting into Star Wars. I know. How exciting is that? You know, what's super fun that's going to be happening soon is that Disneyland is going to be opening its Star Wars themed Disneyland park. And I probably won't go to it this summer until things start dying. I won't be going to it until things start dying down in the autumn and in the winter. But I think that soon, maybe like June or July, this Star Wars themed Disneyland park section will be opening up. And I don't think it's going to be 100% open, 100% functional until later on this year. I think they're having a partial open. And so I'm going to wait a little while until I get the full effect of the Star Wars world. I'm sure Disneyland, with all its professionalism and skill, I'm sure they're pulling together an amazing experience for their Disneyland guests. But I'm going to still wait a little while for all the tweaks to get worked out. And, I'm going to show up when 100% of the park is open, 100% of the Star Wars themed events are open. So I am already kind of planning on going to Disneyland later this year and enjoying the Star Wars stuff. And what I might need to do is read a book or 2 or 3 relating to the Star Wars universe so that I can truly appreciate some of the scenes and ideas that I experience, that I might experience in the Disneyland park. What is the name of that robot called BB-8 or C-3PO or R2-D2? If you really don't know the characters at a deep level, I think it might be hard to appreciate. It might be easy just to sort of look over some details about the characters at the Disneyland park without that knowledge. I mean, with my sort of basic understanding of Harry Potter through the books that I've read and listened to and the movies that I've watched, I've really enjoyed even the small park at Universal Studios, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter section of it at Universal Studios down in LA. I can really, I think, gather a lot of benefit and enjoyment from the park because I am familiar with the material that the park themes are based on. And I want to have that same experience when I show up at the Star Wars themed Disneyland park too. So anyway, what that means is it's going to set me up for reading a lot more Star Wars, I think, over the next year or 2. I do want to finish the Harry Potter series first, though. So I'm going to be on the 6th book now. What is the book that's after the Order of the Phoenix? I don't know. I'm going to have to figure out what book that is. I read Goblet of Fire, and I can just go through them. But anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to end by saying that I love you. I cherish you. I am here to support you and encourage you as you develop and sort of as your life unfolds and you grow into this amazing star that I know you can become. This fully functional, healthy, awesome, creative, inspiring individual that I have a feeling that you're going to become. And I don't know, it excites me. I'm moved by it, and I'm really looking forward to, so I'm enjoying, in fact, now just sort of watching you grow and develop. And I don't know, it's a big part of my life. It's kind of a spectator sport. But I hope to get into the arena more than I am now, and help you learn, grow, and develop. And so I'm excited about it, and I'm hopeful about it. I'm optimistic about it. And anyway, I just want you to know that I'm just thrilled about all the beauty that I'm noticing in your thoughts and behavior. And I don't know, it's a good thing. And I'm looking forward to the future. And I'm thankful for the present, and especially thankful for the past that I've had with you. Anyway, Emily, I hope you have a wonderful day today. Today is the last day of your spring break. I hope you extract all the goodness that you can, all the zest, all the juiciness, all the beauty that you can from today before you have to go back to school tomorrow. Okay. I got to go back to work tomorrow. So, that's just the way it is. I'll talk to you later, girl. Take care. And maybe I'll see you in my quilting class this summer, huh? Bye-bye. Love you.